Thank you, President Ono. My name is Pamela Ratner, and I'm the Vice Provost and Associate Vice President, Enrollment and Academic Facilities of the University of British Columbia. Every year at Congregation, UBC has the honor of bestowing honorary degrees upon individuals who, in the opinion of the university community, have fit the criteria of excellence and eminence in their chosen field. Preston Manning is one of those individuals, and I invite him to step forward to receive his honorary degree. Mr. Vice Chancellor, through his extraordinary record of public service, Preston Manning is one of this nation's most influential champions of democratic and political reform. He was the founder of two political parties, the Reform Party of Canada and the Canadian Reform Conservative Alliance, both of which became the official opposition in the Canadian Parliament and laid the foundation for the new Conservative Party of Canada. A member of Parliament from 1993 to 2001, Mr. Manning served as leader of the opposition from 1997 to 2000 and was also his party's science and technology critic. Since leaving politics, he has contributed extensively to public policy discussions through research and educational organizations, and in particular, through the Manning Center for Building Democracy, which he co-founded with his wife, Sandra, in 2005. Mr. Manning was made a Companion of the Order of Canada in 2007 and appointed to the Privy Council in 2013. He is also a recipient of honorary degrees from 7 Canadian institutions. In recent years, he has provided invaluable guidance to UBC's Centre for the Study of Democratic Institutions, and in particular to the recent creation of the Summer Institute for Future Legislators, which will focus on training and mentoring aspiring legislators, perhaps some of you. In an era of increasingly extreme partisanship, Mr. Manning is notable as an elder statesman for his deep commitment to the value of democracy, his interest in strengthening Canada's democratic institutions, and his belief in the importance of inclusive citizenship. Mr. Vice Chancellor, in recognition of his extraordinary contributions to democratic and political reform, and indeed to the people of Canada, I ask you to confer the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, upon Preston Manning.
By the authority of the Senate of this university and from the Board of Governors, I confer upon you, Preston Manning, the title and degree, Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, from the University of British Columbia. Congratulations.
It gives me great pleasure to now ask Dr. Manning to say a few words.
Well, President Ono, distinguished platform guests, graduates in particular, and ladies and gentlemen, first of all, just sincerest thanks to UBC for this honorary degree. I promise to cherish it and the association with this university which it represents. Over the past years, I've benefited greatly myself from association with several UBC institutions. Those have included Regent College, where I was privileged to study and lecture on the subject of navigating the faith-political interface, which is a subject of increasing relevance today. And as has been mentioned, I've also had the privilege of working with UBC's Center for the Study of Democratic Institutions and the Institute for Future Legislators, institutions which contribute significantly to the development of and the study of democracy in this country. But today, surely our primary focus should be on recognizing and honoring you graduates who are receiving your hard-earned degrees today. And I just want to say too, as everyone here, just congratulations to you on this accomplishment. And thanks to your parents, to your peers, and to your teachers, but especially to you and those who've helped you accomplish what you've achieved today. Now, you're probably tired of hearing speeches, so I will be very brief. Being in the political business, I've listened to and given literally hundreds of speeches, very few of which I can remember, and many of which, including my own, richly deserve to be forgotten. But there's one address that I heard over 50 years ago when I was more your age, and which I have never forgotten, and the essence of which I want to pass on to you for whatever it may be worth. It was given by a Latvian scholar in Edmonton East, the electoral district where I first ran for Parliament. And it was at an event commemorating the short period in the 1920s when Latvia briefly enjoyed independence before being subjugated by the Soviet Union. And the subject of this Latvian scholar's address was the 3 great commandments of Western civilization, which he proceeded to define and urge her audience to practice and not to forget. And those 3 commandments were: know thyself, from Socrates and the Greeks; control thyself, from Moses, the Hebrew lawgiver, and the lawgivers of ancient Rome; and give thyself, from Jesus of Nazareth and the Christian tradition. She went on to elaborate on each of these by asking these questions of her audience, and which I ask of you. Do you truly know yourself? Has your time at UBC enabled you to know yourself better? Your weaknesses so that you can address them, and your strengths so that you can capitalize on them. Have you learned to control yourself and the importance of the rule of law? That commandment reminds us, particularly in the political business, of Milton's dictum, that if you want to govern others, first learn the government of yourself. And then thirdly, do we practice self-sacrificial giving of our time, of our money, of our affections, of our interests, of our lives, self-sacrifice being essential to peacemaking and the reconciliation of conflicting interests in a conflict-ridden world. So I want to wish every graduate the very best for the future, a future which will be brighter and more secure for yourselves and for your children if you know yourselves, control yourselves, and give yourselves. Thank you very much.